Well, once again, the United Nations is attacking the one country that does more for it than anybody else, us. At the UN climate talks in sunny Cancun, Mexico, UN delegates blasting the United States and other developed countries for something they called ecocide, when developing nations like China are doing much more to harm the economy, to harm the environment than anybody else. So why ignore communist China when singling out our democracy? Here to score it for us is Chris Horner. He has authored the book Power Grab: How Obama's Green Policies Will Steal Your Freedom and Bankrupt America. So, Chris, why focus on us when you go to China and you can't see your hand in front of your face?
Because it's about us. It was never about the climate. Kyoto, if perfectly implemented, pause, wait for laughter, would not detectably impact the climate, according to anybody. It was never about the climate. So for years they dined out on saying, well, just the rich countries go first, and then of course the rest of the world will come along. And then they just quietly pivoted to saying, of course the rich countries go first and second, and of course these other countries don't have to come along. It was never about China. It was drafted, by the way. We ratified the treaty, the Kyoto Amends, called the Framework Convention on Climate Change. This is a 1980s mindset, cast in amber in 1992, ratified by the U.S. And China's not dumb. They're getting paid a fortune to be called a developing country under the Framework Convention and under Kyoto.
Absolutely.
So is India.
Well,
so
plus,
is Mexico,
hold on a
South
second.
Korea.
Plus,
they're not going to
how
change
many
this, and we can't make them.
developed countries or developing countries in the history of the world have bought as much debt from the United States as they have? I mean, it's usually the richer countries that buy the debt of the poor countries. To call them a developing nation is kind of silly. But the one thing you can say, Chris, about China is that it is one of the most polluted countries on the face of the planet. You go to Shanghai, and you literally can see the green air right before your eyes.
Okay, but here's where we need to draw a distinction. That's true. And as China gets wealthier, we have to remember what the Greens don't want you to know, which is wealthier is healthier and wealthier is cleaner. And the Chinese will assign economic values to cleaning up environmental media. The Kyoto Protocol is not about pollution, however. It's about carbon dioxide. It's about energy use. It's about rationing energy use
and more
redistributing
than
it throughout
anything
the
else,
world.
Chris, it's about redistribution of wealth, isn't it?
Right. So their CO2 emissions are going to go up. The only thing that's increased faster than expected, like they like to dishonestly say about temperatures, which have gone nowhere, is CO2. And yet temperatures haven't gone anywhere. CO2 has gone up much, much faster than projected. And as China and India and Mexico and South Korea and Indonesia, Brazil, top 15 emitters all, I believe, as they continue to get wealthy, they will get wealthy by using abundant, affordable energy, which means hydrocarbons, which we're rationing and taxing out of the reach of the middle class here, sending, by the way, not just jobs, but pollution, real pollution and greenhouse gases to China, India, Mexico, Brazil, wash, rinse, repeat. It's got the entire issue wrong-headed, even if it were about the climate. It's like saying, world, you're morbidly obese. You skinny people look like you're in good shape. You go first. Greenhouse gas emissions aren't increasing in the rich world. They're increasing in the developing world.
No, this is wrong on so many different levels. By the way, I don't know why those guys are sticking their head in their sand, but that's what all this amounts to. The bottom line here, though, Chris, the thing that really gets on everybody's nerves that's watching the show is that we give more money to the UN than any other country in the world. I mean, they owe their existence to the United States, and here they are beating us up when we are cleaning our air, we are cleaning our water, and the Chinese are going in the opposite direction.
That's what these forums are about. I went to 5 of them and a World Environment Summit where Castro and Mugabe got standing O's and Colin Powell was booed. World Trade Organization, all about beating up the United States. In Cancun, by the way, when it was about the environment. This is about wealth redistribution. Ours is ill-gotten somehow. Remember this one. This is a talking point they've been using. Well, the U.S. has only 5% of the world's population, and they produce 25% of the world's greenhouse gases. We're 5% of the world's population, and we pay 25% of the UN's budget. They don't have a problem with that. And the reason for both is we create 25% plus of the world's wealth, and they want to take that wealth. They don't want to earn it. What you need to do is create markets, of course, liberalize markets and trade, and let them...
They used to be a little more sophisticated. The contradictions weren't quite as glaring as they are in this instance. That's what I'm wondering. Are they really cutting their throats by this?
Of course they are, and here's why. It's down to bags of money. Right now, the only thing they're negotiating, besides a temporary extension of Kyoto, hoping to get involved in our next presidential election to get us into a new one, is a $100 billion fund every year in climate reparations to the developing world. You've got to be, of course they're doing the wrong thing. I was in The Hague 10 years ago this week, when Jacques Chirac said Kyoto is the first component of an authentic global governance. That's what it was about. It's not about the climate. It's about redistributing wealth and freedoms.
Yeah, I hate to end it by quoting a French guy, but I think we're going to do that. Chris Horner, good to see you, my friend. Have a great weekend. Coming up on deck, the gangs are